So we're talking brands with benefits today, which I'm so excited to share with you because it's all about how businesses like Spotify, Airbnb, Adobe are absolutely killing it with brand collaborations and really using them as a strategy to grow, and how you can too. So I wanted to kick off today by defining collaboration because I think literally every presentation I have sat in today uses the word collaboration in some context. So today when I'm talking about brand collaborations, what I mean is when two businesses team up on a clever marketing campaign. So I'm not talking about influencer collaborations, I'm not talking about internal team collaborations, I'm talking about when complementary businesses with complementary audiences team up to do something really cool. And often these lean on existing assets in the business, so things like channels, audiences, resources, skill sets, time. You can really lean on these to leverage amazing brand collaborations, and 90% of the collaborations that happen through Collabosaurus don't involve any cash exchange whatsoever. It's really about a win-win exchange of value that leans on existing assets. So typically brand collaborations fall into one of three categories. There's product, social media, and experiential. So products are probably what your mind first jumps to when you think of a brand collaboration. It's typically when businesses team up on a cool limited edition product. And I love the example between Allbirds and Shake Shack, who teamed up on a limited edition shoe that you could buy with a hokey pokey milkshake, which was inspired by the flavors of New Zealand. That one was really cool. You can also do online products as well. So don't forget things like podcasts, webinars, downloadables, online workshops and courses. Service-based businesses have a huge opportunity to tap into online product collaborations too, and I've got a few examples later in the prezo. The next one is social media collaborations. This is typically what businesses first enter the world of collaboration marketing with because it's quick, it's easy to test and track and see what actually performs. Typically, social media can be competitions or giveaways, content collaboration, or challenges, which are working really well at the moment. So this example is between KKK and West Elm, who really teamed up to do a competition around winning $1,000 to West Elm and also the entire KKK sleep range. And it was all about promoting more sleep. Experiential is absolutely my favorite, and the best example, in my opinion, from 2019 was the Airbnb and Barbie Malibu Dream House. Did you guys see that one? It went nuts on social media. Basically, Airbnb found a mansion in Malibu and decked it out to be like the Barbie Malibu Dream House toy from the 90s that I was never allowed to have. And it was amazing, and it booked out like in 48 hours or less. It was crazy, and people could actually, book a stay to stay here for 2 nights, which did really, really well. And what I love about this one as well is that aside from the reach impact, the content impact, the social media ripple effects, and all of that kind of stuff, that brand alignment is one of those like tricky things to measure, but so, so powerful. Airbnb teamed up with a legacy brand and nostalgic brand in Barbie, whereas Barbie was really brought into the 21st century by teaming up with a brand like Airbnb and cementing it in the modern age. There's also a few hybrids, which I really like. There's quite a few brand collaborations that end up leaning on more than one of those three categories. The Spotify Shani Nicholas one is fantastic. You've probably seen the billboards, all kinds of different advertising around this cosmic playlists, which is where Spotify they teamed up with an astrologer to release playlists based on your star sign every single month, which is so cool. So that started out as, an online product collaboration really within Spotify that drove a really personalized effect and had incredible social media rippling domino effects as well. So I think collaborations have traditionally been thought of as really fluffy. It's one of those like, oh yeah, collaborations, and they're pushed to the bottom of a marketing mix. But when you look at the numbers, they're actually up to 25 times less expensive than other digital advertising, which is absolutely crazy when you think about it. Also, an American Express report released that mid-sized companies in Australia per collaboration saw an average of $430,000 in sales uplift or savings of over $319,000, which is crazy. And you can use collaboration marketing to achieve so many different things. And of course, how you collaborate and who you collaborate with absolutely define how you can achieve these different things. But you can use them to reach new audiences. You can use them to grow your database or social media. You can use them to attract publicity and create buzz, engage new and existing customers like Spotify and Shiny Nicholas, boost or add a revenue stream by releasing a new product, which you halve the manufacturing costs and double your marketing reach for something like that. You can also use them to shift perceptions, and a really great domino effect of brand collaborations is that you grow your network at the same time. You're partnering up with complementary businesses, that are doing the same kinds of things that you are and experiencing the same challenges. So network growth is awesome too. So you'd be crazy not to consider brand collaborations as part of your marketing mix. I think often when I talk about collaborations, particularly with investors, they're just like, well, you wouldn't do collaboration marketing as your only strategy. And anyone who works in marketing will agree that no marketing should be your only one channel, only one marketing strategy, but it should absolutely be part of your mix. And with numbers like that, like 25 times cheaper than digital advertising, you should absolutely be considering it as part of your strategy. So, what makes brand collaborations so successful? I think we've seen our fair share of terrible brand collaborations, like Apple and U2 is like a really big example of that. Or there's like that brand you might think of that you unfollowed on Instagram because they were running a loop giveaway every second week. There are, though, a few, I've actually pulled out 5 key ways that these successful brand collaborations have achieved such awesomeness, and that's what I'm gonna run through today. So the first reason is because they collaborate with purpose. I think just like any marketing strategy, you want to make sure that this is tied back to a really clear goal and has customers in mind. That's really important. I think the Cosmic Playlists collaboration worked so well because it had customers in mind. It personalized an experience and then really increased engagement. That was the purpose behind it, to increase engagement. And then, of course, they saw so many other impacts and success with this campaign as well. You can also use collaboration marketing and partnerships to achieve social good and build awareness. I love the example between Adobe, the Ocean Agency, and Pantone. So they released the Pantone Color of the Year to raise awareness of the coral reef climate crisis, basically, which was so clever and powerful in them all teaming up and doing that together. The next reason these are so successful is because brand collaborations that are done well are used to double their impact. So this is a great example between High Five Nails out of San Francisco. This image is one particular collaboration with a jewelry brand where they created social media content together. Of course, if you think about your business and if you're wanting to promote a new service or product or whatever it may be, you're kind of limited to 3 things. You're limited to your organic community that you already have access to, paid strategies, and things that take a ton of time. So hustling, networking, media outreach, and traditionally partnerships. But with platforms like Collabosaurus, you can actually tap into brand collaborations as a way to double your reach pretty much as easily as you would promote a social media post. So brand collaborations can be done super successfully as a way to tap into whole new communities of people, and not just on one channel either. I think that's slowly what's happening with the influencer collaboration kind of world at the moment, and I love that this has always been the case with brand-to-brand collaborations, in that a business doesn't just have an Instagram channel. A business has a suite of social media, often a media list and database. They have resources available to them and other channels of promotion that you can really leverage in a brand collaboration. The next one is the role of trust and perception, which is an interesting one. So I think, when you think of word of mouth marketing, we place such high value on recommendations that come from friends. And I think we follow brands and brand personalities now so much on social media that if a recommendation comes from them, we place way more trust in that than we would a paid ad that we've seen for the first time, like a cold ad, for example. So teaming up with a complementary brand is a really great way to not only reach new people, but reach new people effectively, because that message is now being promoted to brand fans by a voice that they already trust and a messaging and tone that they already trust. So that's really powerful as well. I think perception also plays a really big role. I love the drumstick, Peter's Drumstick and Gelato Messina example. So they teamed up on some luxury ice creams. We actually did a podcast interview with Declan about this collaboration. So if you're interested in finding out more, the podcast is called This Is How We Do It. And he talked about how their first meeting, he was basically like, your ice cream's no good. We're changing it, like let's do good ice cream kind of thing. And I think by Drumstick partnering with Gelato Messina, they were able to shift perceptions and become a lot more of a cool brand, whereas Gelato Messina were also winning because they got in front of so many people through exposure at Woolworths and Coles and in so many supermarkets around the country, which they otherwise wouldn't be able to achieve, unless it was the Tim Tam collab that they also did. This example is between Vice and MailChimp, which I thought was really interesting, and it's powerful storytelling. So these guys teamed up on short video stories that explored behind the lives of some of MailChimp's customers who were doing side hustles or exploring a complete pivot in their career. And they're such beautiful stories and really work to emotionally shift the perceptions around MailChimp that may have traditionally been more B2B tech focused. Sharing these kinds of stories of very much product-based, smaller side hustle businesses that have, turned out to be these creators' passions. So highly recommend checking that out if you haven't already. The next one is that they all are successful because they collaborate to add value. So collaboration for collaboration's sake, no good, and I see it happen all the time. You want to have a look at your customers and what else they kind of could gain value from. So an example of this would be, let's say you run a Pilates studio. What else are your customers looking for when they're working with you, after they're working with you, and before they're working with you? So fitness wear brands, water bottles, silk hair ties, even music or audio devices could be a really cool collaboration here. You could do so many different things. And using Collabosaurus as an example, which is a platform for marketing collaborations, we teamed up ourselves with Law Squared because we knew that our customers would be looking for contract templates, like joint marketing agreements and things like that as part of their process using Collabosaurus. So instead of trying to pull this together ourselves, we partnered on that and we collaborated around a suite of resources that were co-branded that added value to our particular customers because we knew what they would need at a particular point. So I think really looking at your customer journey and at what point is your customer engaging with you and what else might they need next, what they might need also during or before, that you can potentially collaborate around and amplify either your impact on them, their spend with you, whatever it may be. I thought I was super, super clever with this slide because I use a dating analogy and I use a dating app collaboration example. So amazing. I did this at 11 o'clock at night and I was like, I'm a genius. So basically, I use the dating analogy a lot because Collabosaurus is essentially a Tinder for businesses. But I don't try and marry them on the first date. I think that's so important. When you're trying to establish a brand partnership, obviously use Collabosaurus because it cuts out all of the time and you know what each other are looking for and what you're offering and all of that kind of stuff as well. But if you are reaching out organically, I see so many long-winded, copy and pasted, generalized, self-focused emails that's like, hi there, you don't know who I am, but here's everything you need to know about my business and why we're so awesome. And I'd love to grab a half-hour coffee, to chat about ideas. And receiving that, I'm sure you guys have been on a receiving end of that kind of email before, is absolutely, it doesn't work. Relationships really are at the heart of brand collaborations, and you need to personalize that to, use the cold email to get the first date, not the marriage. So this example is between Hinge and OpenTable, OpenTable is a restaurant booking website and Hinge is a dating app. Basically, they teamed up on an integrated online app. They both had access to development teams so they could leverage their resources available to them as well as their reach. And they thought about, okay, what are each of our customers looking for that totally align? and that is where on earth you go for a first date with someone you have never met. And so they teamed up on this thing where you could find restaurants, there's location and stuff like that, but there was also around vibe and how cold a date it is, which was really interesting, and that really drove user engagement and stuff as well. The other thing I thought I would mention is that polygamy in the world of collaboration marketing is awesome. You should be collaborating more than once. I think another misconception with brand collaborations is that, oh, it's something you might look at doing once a year, like one big limited edition product release. However, you can collaborate multiple times in a year to tap into new audiences, creatively engage your communities, and so on. But what I would recommend with this is to shift up the collaboration type. So don't do a new product collaboration release every single month. That's going to bore everyone to tears, and then it'll stop being exclusive. But you can do a product collaboration release 1 month, and then 2 months later do a social media competition collaboration. A few months after that, experiment with some experiential collaborations and really creating an experience around your brand, or tapping into another brand's event and really creating something cool around that, then doing a content collaboration. There's so many different things you can do. And an Amex report reveals that the optimal amount of collaborations to achieve the most revenue growth and success with collaborations is 5+ a year, which I think is so doable.